Hi guys, welcome to INFAERNUM RPG. My name is Ithakwas Bain and I've been asked by mindsvision to give a quick overview of what the game is, how it plays, and sort of first impressions. Now, this is a game from Brazil. Yes, another game by these amazing Brazilian designers. In this case, the game design was by, and again, I apologize for my pronunciation, Caio Romero, and graphic design by Raul Rinaldi. Again, I do apologize if my pronunciation is wrong, but these guys have produced an absolutely amazing game, very well received back in native Brazil. But mindsvision are bringing us an English version of the game. It is currently at about 190 pages. The game is pretty much done. There's just a few little bits to tidy up as far as I'm aware. But yeah, the one that I'm going to be showing on the screen here is the draft copy. It is a preview copy. So it's not going to be exactly the final design or the content, but it is close to the final product in terms of what you're seeing. And what we have here is I would say a minimalist RPG, in that the mechanics are extremely simple and very few in number. What else? It is a journaling style of game where the emphasis is on you to create the story. Now, with a lot of these journaling or sort of solo RPG games, or solo focused RPG, this game can be played in groups and everything, but you're expected to take prompts and develop a story based on the prompts you're given, on the words or situations that you roll up using the dice. This game doesn't give you as much in terms of the prompts and the examples and the events, like we saw, for example, with Legacy of Cthulhu. This game really does push you to be a lot more creative and a lot more responsible for generating the story and the sort of path that you're going to take. And I have to be honest, I had a bit of problem with this to begin with. Now, there is a gameplay preview that you can download from DriveThruRPG. You can get for free, but if you want to, contribute a little bit of money, that's also okay. And with this, it's a bundle because you're going to get two things. First of all, you're going to be getting the sort of preview document where you have, you're supposed to have enough here to have a little quick go at the game. But I've got to be honest with you, when I first saw this, I got very confused. Luckily, in the bundle, you also get a gameplay example by Caio Romero. Again, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. But he's basically provided us with this short example of how the game starts. I think he's done the first day. But yeah, my advice is if you want to try the preview, you should read the game example first. It makes things a lot clearer and actually really helped me to figure out, that's what you're supposed to do. Now, of course, that's just me. A lot of you guys may not need this. You may look at the preview immediately and know exactly what you need to do, in which case, go ahead. You have my blessings. But once I read through the example, it actually made a lot more sense. However, the full book is a lot clearer. It makes a lot more sense. It has so much more variety. In the gameplay preview, it's not really giving you a lot of options in terms of the things that happen, in terms of who you are. It really does leave it all in your court to create and generate. With the full book, there is some guidance. There are sort of tables that you can roll on to generate certain events and certain things. But like I say, I do recommend having a go at the preview, but make sure you read the example first. It will make things a lot clearer. But we are here to have a look at the full book. So it's about 190 pages, about 70 or 80 pages are the core game as it was when it was first released in Brazil. Since then, there have been a lot of supplements and expansions, and that's what takes up the rest of the book. And there's a lot there. If we look down here, if we look at the contents, this is the basic book, and then these are all the supplements. And there's a lot here. I'm not going to cover them in this video. We'll look at them a bit later. But they really do add a lot of options, a lot of alternative ways to play, a lot of enemies and things that you can do. It really does add a lot to the game. And it's well worth getting the whole thing. Now, this was actually released in Brazil, I think, as the apocalyptic version, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what we're getting. We're getting the game and we're getting all the supplements in one book. Now, the book is amazing. The book looks gorgeous. So well done to Raul Rinaldi for the graphic design here. It has the Mork Borg feel. It has the Forbidden Psalm layout with all the different fonts and the different diagrams and the colors. This is not a game that you want to print out the PDF and bind like I normally do. This is a book where you really do need to get the physical copy. Unless you're okay with using a PDF for games. I'm not. I need something in my hand, some physical book in my hand. But you can see here, it really is a beautifully designed book. So at the start, you're going to create a character in this apocalypse. And one of the beauties of this game is that it's not limiting you to one type of apocalypse. You can create any kind of apocalypse you want. If you want Cthulhu to create the apocalypse, like we had in Legacy of Cthulhu, go ahead. It will give you a different way of playing that scenario. If you want to have something a bit more biblical, maybe a modern day setting, but biblical in nature, where you have devils, demons, and angels everywhere, go ahead. If you want to do a fantasy setting, a science fiction setting, it's designed in such a way that you can use any setting you want, and it doesn't take a lot of work to flesh out your setting to a suitable level for this game. You don't need to have a lot of details in your setting design for this game. A few paragraphs should be fine for you to start. Also, with your characters, there will be some like tables. Bonk. Not necessarily tables, but you're rolling a 3d6 on this page, and it's giving you a very short description of what your character is. Now, you will have mechanisms where you can adjust this sort of higher or lower if you want to. But yeah, this is going to give you a little bit of a push towards who your character is. You can then get more details in terms of what are you good at, what are you bad at. In terms of your equipment, now, because the apocalypse has literally just happened, you're not going to be able to go to shops, go home, pick up things. So you're essentially going to be grabbing what's around you, and that's shown here when you determine your starting equipment or junk. You roll 3d6, and it basically gives you 3 junk items that you can then utilize within your story. You will have a blessing, something special. I don't want to go into that too much detail because it's interesting. And that's basically how you create your character, and that's all it gives you. The rest is up to you. The rest is up to your imagination, your creativity to flesh it out and really sort of get a picture, get an understanding of who you're going to play. Now, the apocalypse has just happened. You have 6 days to get to the promised land, to get to an area of safety. Let me just find it. Here we go. 6 days to create the world. Bonk. Here we go. 6 days to create the world. 6 days to obliterate it. 6 days are all that is left. So the apocalypse has literally just happened, and you've got a total of 6 days to escape or to survive. And this is done on a day-to-day basis during the game. Prophecy, the end. Again, I'm not going to show you guys everything. I'll be ruining it. But you'll have every day is shown in the book, giving you some information about roughly what's happening on that day. A lot of the time, you're going to be rolling a d6 to figure out what's actually happening that day. Some description in terms of what the setting is going to be like. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. You're either dead or you ain't. But yeah, that's the essence of this game. Any setting, any time, and your character can be anything you want. It gives you just that little bit of guidance, but really the emphasis is on you to generate the details and the information. During my playtesting of this game, as I was learning the game, I played a game in the world of Assassin's Creed, the original Assassin's Creed Renaissance. I played a game in World War II, where the Germans, with Hitler and Himmler, with their interest in the occult, basically did something bad and, again, caused an apocalypse at the end of World War II. I also did one in a Star Wars universe. So think sort of Death Star, but bigger. But yeah, the way the game is designed and the way that it's created, there's not a lot of rules, but there's enough there to guide you in terms of creating the story that you want. That's why I'm thinking of this as being very much minimalist, because there's not a lot of rule mechanics for you to actually follow. However, the rule mechanics as they are involve 3 dice. You can roll 1 dice when you want to generate an answer. This is very much like the typical solo RPG Oracle. A 1 to 3 is no, a 4 to 6 is yes. You can add modifiers if you want the result to slant one way or the other. If you think that a certain situation or a certain question is more likely to have a positive result, you can maybe roll d6 plus 1. You'll be rolling 2 dice if you want to generate some kind of description or you need help to create something. You have these 2 tables here where you're going to be rolling 2d6 to generate a random word. I do have another version here, which is a little bit clearer to see. So yeah, you'll be rolling 2d6 to create or to get a random word, a noun, and then a verb. So you'll put those together to help you describe something, to help you get an idea about what's going on. And then you'll be rolling 3d6 when you're doing actions. And this is how the game is going to flow. This is how the game is going to move. You are going to state things that you want to do in a certain period of time, maybe think in terms of rounds or turns. Let's say, for example, that you want to cross a courtyard which is full of rubble. You would then roll 3d6 and see how it went. And you would interpret the results on the dice to what happens in your story. Now, what's going to happen with those dice is here. So if you roll a 1, then that die represents what we call a doom. A result of 2 or 3 on a die represents a neutral event. A 4 or 5 is a deed. A 6 is a miracle. And what you'll do is you'll take those 3 results from the 3 die, and you'll then translate those results into what happens in terms of what you wanted to happen. Did it succeed or not? Did things go wrong? Did you notice anything? So how can we interpret those? Well, let's go down here. If you roll a 1, it's what's called a doom. It's a negative outcome. Things go bad. You can come up with hindrances. You can have situations where the opposite happens, where one of the fallen ones, one of the demons, the devils of the apocalypse, basically turns up and causes problems. You can also determine whether dooms can give you torments, injuries, broken equipment, things like that. Dooms are not good. Every time you roll a doom on your character sheet, you have to tick off one of these boxes. I can't really show you very well on the PDF, but you've got these boxes at the top of the skull. Every time you roll a 1, you have to cross off one of these dooms. When you get 6, one of the horsemen of the apocalypse comes to visit and you get a curse, which is like a major torment, a major problem. Yeah, it's happened to me in my playtest, don't worry. Deeds, if you roll a 4 or 5, it means you successfully carry out that action. A miracle is a positive action which could relate to like an extreme success. Or maybe you can use it to get rid of one of your torments, yeah, to heal or to repair or something like that. During character creations, you will also generate a blessing, something special that you have. Normally, to activate or use that blessing, you will need to roll a miracle. Yeah, that's sort of the minimum requirements. You need a miracle to activate that special thing you have. One thing I actually want to highlight, it doesn't happen to me very often, but it has happened during my playtests. If you roll 3 6s, you dead. Yeah, you dead. Another thing is if you're making a roll, if you're trying to do something which is related to your fortune, what you're good at, every time you roll a 6, you can cancel a 1. A miracle cancels a doom. If the action you're trying to do is linked with your misfortune, something that you're bad at, then every 1 cancels a 6. So you have that relationship with the actions that you're trying to do with your fortune and misfortune. And these are, like I say, these are things that you generated during your character creation. What else? I don't want to go over too much because, like I say, there's a lot in this game, not game mechanic wise, but in terms of things that can happen and things that can go wrong for you. I want to mention one other thing: omens. Another thing that you'll be doing is that every day, remember this is a game covering 6 days, every day you're going to be rolling a dice to see how many omens you get for that day. Now, omens can be used to either reduce the number of dooms you get in a roll by 1, or to allow you to re-roll a dice. So you'll be rolling a dice at the start of every day, and you'll be getting these omens, which can allow you to, well, help you to survive. But yeah, I mean, essentially that is the game. A lot of the focus in terms of what happens, in terms of the adventure, in terms of what you wanted to do and how it happens, is really down to you. That's why I'm calling this a minimalist journaling game. It is a storytelling game, and like I say, in terms of the prompts, in terms of the guidance that this game gives you, it is very minimal in nature. But I have found that when I started playing this, I was kind of worried that I wouldn't know what to do, that maybe the game would leave me sort of walking blindly in the dark. It's not that bad because the prompts the game does give you and the way that you use those 3d6 to help you to create your story, it actually works pretty well. And the more you play this, the more that you generate random settings and generate your characters and play through and create your journal, you actually find the easier it gets and the more vibrant, the more interesting your stories will be. But remember, this is all about the apocalypse. It's all about the end of the world. Will you reach safety in 6 days? I haven't yet. I've played this a bunch of times. I have yet to reach, I don't think I've even reached day 5 yet. I keep getting dooms because you know me, the one Lord, the Lord of Ones. But anyway, guys, this has just been a very quick overview. Check out the preview, but also check out the game example in that bundle from here, from drive-through. And I think, as well as being an absolutely gorgeous book in terms of the graphic design, I really do think that the system is really enjoyable, and it's really helping me to be more creative, to have more fun in my games, even when the dice roll badly. So yeah, that is INFAERNUM coming to Gamefound on March the 25th. And I do highly recommend this. This has been a lot of fun, but again, it is a bit of work. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Join the Gamefound project if this is something that you think that you will enjoy or that you're interested in. And I hope to hear from you, the games you play in the future. Until then, take care, stay safe. Cheers.